Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships and Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back taking our very first look at the Tier 6 Premium Japanese Destroyer, the Yukikaze. So, with that being said, let's get into this. First of all, our commander, as always, Raizo Tanaka, running Jerzy Swirsky and Eric Bay as our inspirations. We are running Subsurface Venture, Fragile Threat, Torpedo Safari, Destroyer Be Destroyed, and Unstoppable. Okay, we look at our perks, or our equipment. We are running Aiming Systems Mod 1, we are running Propulsion Mod 2, and we are running Concealment System Mod. Now, the reason I went with Propulsion Mod over the steering gears is this thing has a fantastic steering already. It's like 2.7 seconds. You don't need to make that any faster. So that's why I went with the Propulsion Mod over this. This allows you to get moving and stop, start and stop a lot quicker. So Propulsion Mod comes in handy on this ship because you're not very fast on top end. Now, we look at our loadout. We weren't even running our community contributor flag because I completely forgot to put it on. But we did have the community, or the permanent camo that comes with it. We're not running any boosters. And as you can see, we get a smoke and we get an engine boost, but no torp reload booster, thank God. Survivability, 13,590 hit points. You've got 127mm guns in the standard 3x2 loadout of the Japanese destroyers. Those dual turrets, you know how they do. Nasty. 8.3 second reload time is pretty good for these things. However, the 180-degree turn time is not preferable. It's right there, not quite as bad as the Asashio or the Shiratsuyu, but it's right next to it. Like, it's almost as bad as those two. It's slightly better. Maximum HE shell damage is 2,150 with a 9% chance to set fire. AP shells, you're not going to be using those. Torpedoes, 610mm quadruple launchers. You've got two of them, two of them midship, so you can launch 8 torpedoes off either side of the ship. 91.5 second reload is not good. 180-degree turn time, 6 seconds, that's usual, but maximum damage is where it's at. 22,382 torp. These are literally Udachi Screamer torps. Notice the torpedo speed's 80 knots. These are the Screamer torps, except you get an extra 1.3 kilometers on the torpedo range of this thing over the Udachi. But you don't get a reload booster. Keep that in mind. Maneuverability. 37.1 knots. Not good, not terrible. So it's middle of the road. You've got to be very, very careful about where you put yourself in this ship. If you get yourself into a sticky situation, you can't outrun getting out. You just can't. So keep that in mind. Turning circle radius, 640 meters. Not particularly good for a destroyer, but not horrendous. Rudder shift time is 2.7 seconds, as we already talked about. Concealment, as always, Japanese sneaky ninja strats, 4.6 kilometers. Surface detectability, 2.5 by air, 2 is guaranteed, and 2.5 in smoke. Armor, you don't have any, it's a destroyer. But it is 15, 16 millimeters pretty much everywhere. And as you can see, the center of the ship, it's got quite a vital ship area where you want to be trying to hit with your HE if you're attacking another destroyer for those full HE penetrations. Overview. Hidden. Good concealment means the ship can get closer to enemies before being detected. It's Japanese super sneaky ninja strats. Big yield, above average torpedoes. It's Japanese ridiculous torpedoes. Yukikaze was a Kagero-class destroyer in service with the Imperial Japanese Navy during World War II. She was the only member of her class to survive the war. Entered service in 1940, there were 19 Kageros built. So, what do you guys think? Oh my god, the freaking... Dude, what is with this? How is it that I am in a freaking Xbox Series X and we got drops in frames in the port? Wargaming, please optimize the port for God's sakes. Seriously, those of us who make videos would much appreciate it. I know there's other more important things that need to be fixed too, but please help me. And with that being said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty, so we are on Two Brothers, and we are in the Yukikaze. Now, let me just go ahead and start this off by saying the Yukikaze, there's nothing special about it. It's literally just that I don't know why anybody would go for this rather than the Akatsuki, which is literally the tier 6 tech tree version. Okay? Just throwing that out there. That's my opinion. It's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be, because I don't know. I think everybody's been given it. I've seen some of the other reviews, and everybody's been extremely critical of it. It's a Japanese torp boat, man. It's a Kagero, except it's tier 6. And what can you ask? I mean, it's a good ship. It's just, it is very one-dimensional, and you have to be very, very picky when it comes to when you want to use the guns, because the guns traverse is garbage. So keep that in mind. But it's still Japanese HE. It's still those fantastic dual-turreted, nasty guns, meaning you have 6 guns, and they have Japanese fantastic HE. So it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. But it is not an easy ship to play if you don't know what you're doing. I've been playing a lot of Japanese destroyers. I kind of have a good feeling for what I'm doing. However, there's something that has been coming up for a while now that you guys have all known, and we just hit it. So yeah, we are in the words of the wise and trustworthy Flambino. Mission! We're going in! Now, we just passed 30,000 subscribers, and I can't tell you guys how ridiculous that is for me. Like, I've said it over and over again. It seems cliche at this point to keep bringing it up, but I seriously thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for you guys making my dream job a reality. When I started this out, I thought, well, it'd be fun to make some videos, maybe something goes somewhere, and then maybe at some point I'll be able to make enough off of YouTube that I could make a living out of it. And you know, it's one of those things that you put out in the world and you're never sure it's ever going to happen. And this is one of the few times that it actually has happened. Like, you guys have absolutely crushed it. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. We have a great community. You guys constantly help one another out. It's fantastic. We've got some great videos planned. I'm getting ready to go on vacation. We're going to go to the USS Wisconsin, get some video there, hopefully. So look forward to that video coming up as our 30,000 subscriber special. Now, to get into the game, when you're going up the middle, and this is not something I advocate for, don't do it. It's not going to work every time. It doesn't work most of the time. It's not always a good plan, okay? But there's a few things that you want to avoid if you are going up the middle. Now, I'm in a destroyer. So, obviously, I don't want to get detected because destroyers versus entire teams this close, like, it doesn't end well. However, I torped at the Nagato. He's going to get out of the cap. He knows I'm here. If you look, I look at his guns, and he's looking right at me. So he saw those torpedoes, and he knows I'm here. But he's getting out of the cap. Now, look at the mini-map. You see my detection ring, my green ring? Look at where he's currently at, and look at where everybody else is spotted. Nobody's anywhere near me. This is allowing me to slip into the cap and start capturing, and also allow me to get through behind the enemy. Now, I told my team I was doing this early. Like, I was like, guys, just as a heads up, I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna channel my inner Flambass and go mid. There were 4 destroyers in this match, so it's likely to be a stalemate on either side. So if I come out into the center of their base, that forces them to come back. And also, with me being able to get behind them like this, I've got a Colorado just absolutely begging for it. We're going to go ahead and try to hit him. He hasn't been torped yet, so there's a good chance he's not paying attention to the fact that somebody's in his base. The Nagato, however, that we did try to torp, knows I'm here, so he's likely to turn to avoid him, and he's not presenting a very good angle currently for me to torp. So, that's the one thing that I want to, like, point out with when you're coming through into the enemy base. If you're in any other ship, like if you're in a cruiser, if you're in a battleship, cruisers shouldn't do it, period, because you're just not tanky enough. Maybe Edinburgh, Balti, Wichita, something like that, but you generally would want to have more than one cruiser if you're doing that. But battleships, if you were to go mid, first of all, it takes you so freaking long to do, and then by the time you get there, like, all it takes is one destroyer to come back and be a competent player and you're a dead man. Okay? So, just, it's not a good strategy, but it is fun to do occasionally, and sometimes this game is nice to just have some fun. I'm all about the salt. You guys know me. I go ultra try hard all the time because I'm a doofus. I can't help myself. But sometimes I even get into a point where I just want to have some fun. And that's what this thing is pretty good at. And again, it's not the ship. You can do this in any Japanese destroyer. Okay? They're all just, they're literally cookie cutters of one another. Now, we did manage to torp the crap out of the Colorado, and this Nagato has to come back and defend the base, right? Has to. Now look at the angle he's presenting. Okay? He's only 5 kilometers from me, and we have screamer torps. Meaning these torps will reach him in 22 seconds. If you look at the torp guide that it shows you. It only takes 22 seconds from these torps to leave my torp tubes to get to him at 5 kilometers. That's not a whole lot of time to think about, you know, bad decisions. And like I said, there's nothing he really did wrong. It's just he knew I was in the cap. He didn't know where I was in the cap. And because he took so long coming back, he is now dev struck, and I get to sit in the base and capture the base. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, Spartan, are you just going to capture the base and call it a day? You got 100,000 damage, and honestly, that's pretty much the goal here. They have to come back and pull me out of here. I used my amazing concealment to sit at the very edge of the cap, just keeping myself just out of range of him spotting me, and that now I am contested. I've got 16 seconds before this game ends, right? And he gets into the base and contests me. I know it's a destroyer because he's not currently spotted. And so there is a destroyer on the far left side, and I am actually communicating with a teammate who watches the channel. I believe he's in a Benson. And anyway, he's going to go down there, and he's holding that side. Like, his 2 guys that he was with kind of flubbed it up, and he's trying to hold that side. And to his credit, he does a fantastic job of holding that side. But Colorado is still over there, and there's a destroyer near him as well. And so I need to look over and see what we have with that destroyer. The destroyer gets lit up, so I look over immediately. I look at the Colorado to see how much health he's got. I see the destroyer, but I didn't look at him. And that's when I realized that he's spotted. I'm like, okay, the Akatsuki's over there. Which means that the Venom is over here in the cap. Okay, so now my alarms start going off. Okay, I've got a Venom in the cap. Not the worst thing to worry about, but it is something to worry about because he has a good set of guns. He's got American rapid-fire guns. He has a crap ton of torpedoes with, 16 torpedoes on that thing, I think. 8 off either side. Anyway, a lot of torpedoes. Low-yield torpedoes don't do much in the way of damage, thank God, but still, it's something to consider. I don't necessarily want a gunfight with this man, but I want to spot him. I've got teammates. They've pushed. These guys had to turn around. They've given themselves up. Our team had the overmatch on this side, and that's when the Venom gets spotted, and he has no health, which is perfect for me, and out comes the gunfight. Now, very first salvo was hot garbage. Didn't manage to hit him except 1 shell. Now, he is going to start shooting, but watch, he's continuously shooting me. We almost nuke him, and that's what I'm talking about with these Japanese HE, man. The Japanese HE is disgusting. But he does manage, just as I kill him, to crap out some torpedoes. And in true Spartan fashion, I'm always thinking ahead. I'm looking at the battleships. I'm trying to go undetected. I drop my, oh my God, torpedoes! Get out of there, Spartan! Oh, thank God for propulsion mod. I managed to get out and only take 1 of those low-yield torpedoes, which is preferable. And here's the good thing about the destroyers and their damage cons, right? They're short. The cooldown for a damage con on a destroyer is stupidly short. So this mistake doesn't cost me my life. And we managed to torp out on the Bayern, but the Bayern's already got tingling feelings. We take a shot at him, and we back into the cap. That gives us our high caliber, and we're going to go back into our smoke and disappear. And we're going to try to shoot into that superstructure, get some damage. That shot was a little low. Did pretty decent damage, 1,420 damage there, no fires. His damage con should be on cooldown by now. And no fires. We get 3 shatters on that one, 2 penetrations. One of them was into a secondary probably, and did no damage. The other one didn't give me much of anything. We aim a little higher this time. We get another 355 and a fire on him. And we've almost got this guy dead. The Colorado's still alive. The Akatsuki's still alive. My teammate over there in the Benson is about to be dead. I believe his name's Toxic Vibe. There you go. He's dead now. And that leaves 2 people on that side, only one of which can get into the base. We have a 2-person cap advantage right now. So we are going to win as long as I don't get myself shot. Like that. And I do get shot. I live on just 300 hit points in a dream, right? And that's going to be enough to win this game for us. That 1 destroyer is not going to have enough to capture that base quick enough. We managed to do everything we could. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Is this something that I would spend a lot of time going through and getting? No. If you like that game mode, you want to get this thing, more power to you. But honestly, the tier 6 Akatsuki or Akatsuki, whichever way you want to talk about it, for Naruto, it's Akatsuki, so that's why I call it that. Anyway, is better. So, I mean, it's got shorter reloads. It's got 9 torpedoes instead of 8, and they, like I said, the reload on it's just over a minute, whereas this is 90 seconds. So keep that in mind. Like, personally, I don't see why anybody would want this ship, but there are people out there that are going to spend a lot of time playing that game mode, so maybe they get it just because. So hopefully you enjoyed. We end up having a pretty solid game, not a barn burner game or anything like that, but a solid game and a fun little tribute to Flambass. And in true Spartan fashion, my controller died at the perfect time, which is right at the end of the match. If that had happened when I was fighting that Venom, I would have cried. Not gonna lie. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.